What's up, guys? Andre with Eagle Express. Welcome back. And today, my thoughts, and these are just my thoughts. A lot of people are getting burned out in the business. No matter how you're doing, either you're doing great and you're making good money, or you're doing bad and you got maybe way too many bills, maybe you got a high vehicle payment, maybe things in life aren't going as great, plus, the current load market and the rates, they're lower and cheaper, and things are a bit slower, and a lot of people are asking still, daily, to this day, to this time, is it a good time to buy a van? So let's start first. I'll answer a couple questions. These are just my thoughts of a guy who's been 10 years in the business, thoughts of a guy who not just sits on this, like you, on one side of the screen as a driver, but also I'm in front of a computer screen as well, all day long, 90% of the time. So I bid on loads, and I book the loads, and I also show you guys how to do this in the van as well, and what kind of van to get, and and so on and so forth, to help you guys out so you guys are successful, to maximize your profits. First things first, is it a good time to buy a van? Well, because of how things are going, because of the market, a lot of people have left the industry, which I was waiting for this. Were we prepared for this? Yes, we were. Were people that were driving prepared for this? No, they were not. A lot of them started when things were great, when it was post-COVID times, and things were just so good, and they went out and bought expensive vans, and now all of a sudden in the bad market, when the rates are low and cheap, this is the same thing with trucking. If you're a truck driver, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You could have bought a truck, or you maybe did buy a semi-truck for almost 200 grand plus a trailer, so you're into it $250,000, $300,000, got to make payments, and your payments are maybe $5,000 to $7,000 a month for your truck and trailer plus insurance. You're in a lot of, you're in a lot of pain as far as worrying about how you're gonna at least just make ends meet, if you can anyways. And the same thing happened with the vans as well. A lot of drivers went out and bought expensive vans. I know back then things were good. It didn't really matter how much the van cost, because everybody thought, hey, I don't care, as long as I'm busy, I'll do an extra load, I'll do an extra 2 loads, I'll make up for the van payment difference, I'll make up for the higher fuel cost, and the rates being the same. That's how it was, and that's how I looked at things too, and everybody else did too. Me, I did not buy a brand new van. I never did, and I never will buy a van off the lot, just because as soon as you drive off the lot, that van becomes a lot cheaper. So me, when I look at a van, and I'm already looking to upgrade to a fourth, just because of how I look at it. So I always look for the best deal. The best deals come when times are tough and rough. And right now, to answer your question, is a good time to buy a van, but it is not that great of a time yet to be able to drive and make money and everything else. Yes, you'll drive. Yes, you'll make money. You're going to be somewhat busy. It's not too tight of a schedule like it used to be, where a lot of drivers were, waiting for a breakdown, or waiting for something to where they, things would slow down. Those days are over. We never know if they're going to come back or not. And expediting nowadays, yes, you do still have to drive all night long when the load requires you to. And yes, you got to go nonstop a lot of times. And yes, you are going to have downtime. That's a new norm these days, that there will be once or twice a week, there will be downtime, especially on the weekends. If there's no load for you on a Friday, it's most likely that you are going to be standing all weekend long until next Monday again, and things like that. That's basic things. So to buy a van at a good deal right now, yes, it's a good time, but only if your bank account allows you to, because if you're already in a bad situation and you're looking to buy a van, and yes, they're cheaper now, and yes, you might have a little bit of savings for a down payment, but hey, if you can't just buy it in cash and still have money left over for, I don't know, repairs, some other kind of unforeseen maintenance, anything else, it's not a good time for you. But for the guy that's sitting there and going, man, you know what? I saved money. I can buy it for cash. I've got maybe either retirement money rolling in, or maybe something else you're doing that you got some money rolling in, or you just have a decent amount of money in your bank account and you want to do this, and you don't want to have a boss, and you don't want to have somebody telling you what to do, when to work, when not to work, those kind of things. Yes, for you, it's the perfect time to buy a van because they've dropped in price a lot. I'm actually looking at purchasing a couple myself because I have found them for anywhere between 22 and 25,000. 22 and 25,000 and under 100,000 miles. I'm talking about a couple Ford Transits. Yes, I'm a Sprinter guy. I always have been, and I always will be, but Sprinters are still up there. I mean, you can get it for 30 to 32-ish, around there. But hey, why would I want to spend 30 to 32 when I could, buy it for 10,000 less and buy the Ford? And right now, diesel and gas, between those two vans, like a 3.7 gets about 18 miles per gallon on an average. They say. I've never driven one. If you guys drive the Ford, let me know, please. Write it in the comments. Let me know what you get out of your 3.7 liter. Sorry, I was talking until the battery went out. Didn't even notice what it was at before. Let me know what you guys are getting out of your 3.7s, because to purchase a diesel Sprinter right now, with what I'm seeing as far as the prices go on the vans, if I can get a van for anywhere between 20 and 25,000 with low mileage, I'm talking about 50,000 miles to under 70,000 miles on a Ford Transit in a gas model. I mean, by the time I would recoup that extra 10 grand, with it being, if it's true that it's getting 18 miles per gallon, then I don't know how long it would take me to get those 10 grand back. I usually don't keep a van after 300,000 miles anyways, or try not to anyway, but it just doesn't make sense to not to do that. So if you're thinking about buying a van, is it a good time? Is it not? It definitely is, because they've dropped in price a lot. They've almost, in my area, in Washington State anyways, I'm going to talk from my area, they've dropped almost anywhere between 40 to 50%. And I'm seeing like a big drop, you know what I mean? It used to be that they were in demand, they weren't there, you couldn't get them. It was, dealers were upscaling, upcharging to whatever they wanted to, things like that. So obviously, it was what the market was calling for. There wasn't any vans, wasn't any vehicles. Used vehicles used to go up in price. Now everything changed, even in just a car market right now. Everything changed tremendously. It's not the same anymore. So it's a good time to buy a van, but when you're buying for cash and it's not hurting you. If you're going into debt and you're still, financially unstable, not in the right place, don't have savings after you would buy a van, then it's going to be hard for you. It's going to be more difficult for you because, the rates are still not really stabilized. What I'm going to tell you about rates is we're 3 days into May, and this week and the end of April was actually, things got a little better. I hope that this is the slow climb up to where things need to be, but it's hard to tell exactly if it's true or not true, if things are picking up, if the rates are going back up or not. But from our drivers are just used to making 5,000 to 7,000 a week grossing. So when you're at like 2,500, 3,000, it's a big, it's a big step down. It's a big step down. So I understand, we all want to make money. We all want to do great at this and good and support our families and be able to take vacations and everything else. So hopefully this is the climb up. But the other part is, a lot of people get burned out in this job, get burned out because they've got quite a bit of bills. They bought that van for a very expensive amount. Now that van is worth less than half the price because the mileage, because of other vans being as low as I've just been talking about. You still got to pay that van off if you haven't yet. You're working hard. You're just spinning your wheels. You're not getting anywhere. Some people are getting somewhere. Some people are not. It's just an individual thing. And you guys just got to take it easier. You know what I mean? I know it's hard to talk about it for somebody who is not in your shoes, you're going to say. But everybody's been in debt. I've been in debt myself. I've been in bad situations financially. Thank God everything has turned around. You live and you learn how to save in the good times. That way, when the bad times come, it's not as painful and you can actually live off of your savings or what you have made and saved up. So for those of you guys, because people can get burned up in this job really easily, and not just because they're not making money and not getting good results from what they do, people can still get burned up, various things. I mean, your van could be breaking down a little more than you'd like. Things going on in your life that, are different, family matters, all those kind of things. I mean, or just eventually you get burned out. It's kind of, you've been everywhere, you've seen everything, you've pretty much hauled everything that you could have thought you would have hauled for a couple of years, and you're just kind of, burned out with the job. You guys got to understand that people get burned out doing factory work when they're going 8 to 5 or 5 till 3, doing those kind of jobs. Those people get burned out quicker. People get that sit behind the wheel and have a scenery change every 5 minutes, or even quicker than that, or sometimes slower than that. Things change. The weather changes. Sunshine, no sunshine. State to state, things change. You guys just gotta take time for yourselves. Have vacations. If you can't afford a vacation, guess what? Your van, as long as it's built right and everything, and you got a comfortable bed, heater, everything, you guys can definitely take vacations in your van. You can go anywhere, to any camping area, any place that has an RV area, or even no RV area or nothing. Go to state parks and just camp out over there, take time off, reload yourself, reload your brain. It's definitely going to help you guys out. I guarantee you it will. You might not be happy about personal things. Guess what? Planet Fitness, they have not ran out of memberships yet. So you can definitely get yourself a membership at Planet Fitness. When you have downtime, when you're sitting waiting for freight, you got nothing to do. Hey, instead of watching movies on your phone and eating chips and junk food, go work out. It gives you great motivation when you're seeing other people actually working out and building their body to where they want it to be. So, we all got to look presentable. You don't want to look like a fat slob, all those sort of things. When you feel good about yourself and you feel good on the outside, you're going to feel good on the inside. And when you feel good on the inside, you're definitely going to feel good on the outside as well. It's just part of how things work. So I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. If you have questions, comments, I read them all. So please, keep writing in the comments what you guys want the next video to be about, what you guys want to discuss, whether it be, rates, where people go or not to go. There's a little bit of that going on as well. That's another subject to talk about. West Coast, if you guys are drivers, West Coast has been like Washington, Idaho, Montana, Utah. Not going to talk about California because California is a whole different ball game. It's better than any of those, or even all of those put together. California is still not bad. Those of you guys who are skipping California, you're definitely putting a dent in your pocketbook. Not a dent, but you're leaving a lot of space in your wallet that could have been filled with money by actually going there. There's still mileage to go there and back and out and everything else. So God bless you guys. Hopefully that answers some of your questions. Things, judging just by 1 week so far, we've entered May. Things have, I would say as far as like load availability and loads on the market, things have picked up. As far as rates go, there's room for improvement in that. Definitely there is. As far as van goes, yeah, it's definitely time to buy a van. It's definitely time to upgrade a van. If you guys have saved money and you want to upgrade, your van is up there in mileage. If you've hit 300,000, 400,000 in your van already, hey, and you got cash saved up, cash talks. You can definitely buy yourself another van. Don't buy new, but I would buy used. That's just me, because, hey, you know what? In a month, you're going to put on anywhere between 10 to 12,000 miles on it in 1 month, easily. So in 1 year, it's going to be over 100,000, maybe 150,000 miles on your van in just 1 year, as long as you're a good driver. So guess what? The price of your van, buying it from a dealership and versus what you could have bought used for half price, that's a big difference. And either way, if you would have bought your van from a dealership now, even if you buy it now, in a year, when you put 100 to 150,000 miles on it in just 1 year, that van's already going to be a lot less in value, probably half for somebody. So that's something to think about, guys. Something definitely to think about. Thank you for watching. God bless. Comment, like, subscribe. You guys know exactly what to do. Take care.